Welcome to another edition of Pittsburgh Sports Line at SIP Sports Bar, 3024 West Liberty Avenue, 15216. Great day of sports here in Pittsburgh. We got a great crowd, a lot of great guests. I got one of my old friends, Babe Ruth, is coming back on the show. So wait till you meet my friend here. Unbelievable. Wait till you see what he has. Thanks for watching us on Verizon 32 everywhere in the Pittsburgh area. We have a regular segment every Tuesday through Saturday night, 7 o'clock to 8 o'clock, and then other times, Smoking Jim and I do boxing, and we've been around. You'll see a lot of Friday night, Saturday night boxing matches and more, plus special events. We're only on Comcast 7 in Bethel Park, and that's just how Comcast is. And if you want to watch over 250 of our shows, which is all of them, just go to YouTube. Thanks to Bethel Park and Dave Cable. We got Devin Shea here running both cameras, so bear with us. He's an expert here. I'm Al Levine, the talking machine. We got Smoking Jim Frazier, and we always start the first segment with what's on our mind.
Hey, thanks, Al Levine, the talking machine. And if you want the green,
There you go, buddy.
You got to see Levine. I like to start off each and every show by giving a shout out to my main man, Dan the Man. Dan makes the best coffee on the planet. If you like coffee, order a cup from Dan. You won't be disappointed. Please take care of your bartenders and waitresses. And if you haven't done so already, do yourself a favor and grab a menu, because 2 weeks ago I had the best meatball hoagie I ever had in my life, and it's because of the chef, Chef Pete's in the back. Big hand for international master photographer Bill Boyce, and his beautiful models is in the house. Al Levine, you always say I got a lot of cousins.
Yes, you do.
Well, I just picked up another one. He lives in Washington, D.C., and his name is Kirk Cousins. I don't like RG3. RG3 don't have no heart. Every time he gets hit, he lays on the ground so long, he looks like a snow angel. RG Me is the most selfish player in the National Football League. Hey, RG Me, there's no I in team, but there's an I in idiot. Hey, listen, first of all I got to say is RG3 is a brittle brother. He's out again for the whole year for basically a twisted ankle. I only have one thing to say to Kirk Cousins. Good luck, cuz.
What's on my mind is the Pirates are still with us. Even though they had minor league players this year, they didn't make any moves, and they're still in the wild card chase. They might even have a chance with 13 games to go. Look what happened. There was a triple play. Jay Hay, I was talking with our friend Mario Tempest. Look at the year he's having. Not only, I'm not going to steal all his thunder because he's going to mention a few things, but it's rare to see a triple play. Just so you know, since you're a baseball guy now, do you know the last time that we had a triple play?
Maybe last year.
Well, you are an expert in football and an NFL scout, but you're so far off on that one, my friend. 1979 was the last time. And you know what year that was and why it's so special? Not because of the triple play.
They won the World Series.
You are an expert. There you go. That's what watching baseball does and drinking the Pirate Kool-Aid. Well, we could go on and on about other sports, but we do have some great guests up here, and we're going to start bringing the guests up right now.
Hi, Al.
Hi, Mace Way.
The talking machine.
Yeah.
You did it very well. Nothing can stop you talking, not even my name.
I guess that's a compliment. Thank you.
My name is Mei Cui, and it's my actually first time to be this bar, and I think
On our show, this is Pittsburgh Sports
the
Line.
Bar, also Pittsburgh Sports Line, and get to know all about what Al does to community.
How about my best friend and brother from another mother, Smoking Jim Frazier?
And I can I be applying for that cousin status, right?
Yeah, right.
Easy with that.
Yay,
Making
cuz.
connections, yes.
And that's what she does. She's a networking queen. And then, yeah, we'll get into that later, but we wanted to talk some sports.
Absolutely.
don't get a photo of that shirt yet. Did you get a photo? Here, let me hold this. You just sit there nicely. Just smile. Just smile for international, world-renowned, even an outer space photographer.
Got a shirt too. Okay.
Well, what did you bring? This is your team.
Absolutely, yeah. I came here today and I said it's my first time. I want to see what Al is doing greatly, and
Well-
I talk a lot, and I find out that this is the one person that actually talk more than me.
No. See, I actually listen when you're going to be talking. I'll listen. Now, you know it's a sports talk show.
Absolutely. Al asked me to bring the sports. Said, May, you're not going just to show yourself. I am an everyday athlete. I am not like a professional athlete. And
No.
then so everyday athlete means we exercise, we follow a lot on TV, on the daily. You see these great athletes worldwide, how their great performance is. And then we envy that. So can I play tennis like Serena Williams? She just won the U.S. Open.
For the
And,
sixth time.
I know how many Grand Slams she had.
I lost
18,
track.
I think, yeah. So they're great sportsmen, sportswomen and men, and I can be that. And then also these boxers, like a Timothy. I brought a picture here. This is the Timothy Bradley. And can I be the boxer like that? I wish I couldn't. But
How about a football player?
The football player, absolutely.
How about basketball?
Absolutely. And this is Jennifer Azzi. And actually, I
Here,
have
how about we put that up there? Why don't you hold that?
and I have a picture. Now I couldn't find it. Now I think it's in the back seat there.
That's okay.
Yeah, and
We're just finding out who you are and what you do in this
And
great
so-
Pittsburgh area.
absolutely. I'm living in Pittsburgh. Originally came from China.
How long
24
ago?
24 years ago.
No way. What were you, 5 years old?
Thank you. And then, so I have this great sports connection through something I do. Because these athletes, Jennifer Azzi actually is a gold medalist with Olympian, leading a U.S. Basketball team.
We follow some sports,
I know.
but I didn't know they had, I can't even pronounce USANA.
Yeah, USANA actually is also a brand. I carry making the connection through USANA with these great athletes, and then that's what we have in common because these athletes are all using USANA products. So that's the great connection I make every day. And then, do I have someone in Pittsburgh, professional athletes?
I thought I'm doing the interview.
Uh-huh.
Do you have somebody in Pittsburgh that's a great
That
athlete?
is what I want to make the connection to.
You come to the right place.
Thank you.
How did you get started in this? It sounds like you're a nutritionist.
4 years ago, yeah, I had my own mission of try to get better of my regular day.
You mean
energy,
get healthier?
Get healthier, and then all women in this whole world, doesn't matter where you go to China, go to Europe, in the States, we fight one thing. We want to maintain a healthy weight. And then the every day you hear is diet, not eating, or using some harmful ingredients. So there's no mystery here. It is using the right scientifically result and have that system working for us to do it healthily. I found that 4 years ago, and these athletes using this system, they have a money, it's called an athlete guarantee program. $1 million money back guarantee. If they qualify at that standard, is a world-class athlete or football's pro.
Hold it,
anywhere
you
like
missed,
that.
you didn't say Serena's on your USANA products.
Serena said, yes, I do. It's the only thing the WTA, which is Women Tennis Association, allows these players to take.
No way. Well, then you should be the exclusive sponsor of Pittsburgh Sportsline.
I
When are we going to
represent-
start to work on that? You know, we'll let you hold a magazine that maybe you could do something in the future with us. Since you do stuff like that, you got to hold the magazine for international.
Who is this? He's bleeding.
He's a hockey player. It's all makeup. Nobody was hurt. That's all makeup.
Wow, wow.
That's it. No animals, no people, no
You
makeup
sure?
artists.
This is not
No, don't. We don't talk
protection?
off air. We'll talk about that. But that's what we're working on. We could use your help here.
Absolutely.
No,
I'm honored. I'm
You're honored.
Yes.
Well, how do they get a hold of you?
These athletes, they can find me on Facebook. I am Al Levine, Talking Machine's friend. You can find me through him.
Okay.
It's May, M-E-I. First name, last name is T as in Tom, S as in Sam, U-I. But if you click M-E-I off his chart, I'm probably the only one will pop up. Right?
You mean on my friend list? I don't know.
I
I'm
think
deleting
even
you.
him only have
He-
one cousin May now,
Hey,
right?
that's
It
right.
does. And it's Sway, but it's not S-W-A-I
Oh, yes,
or anything like
TSUI,
that.
Yeah.
Very
Find me on the
good.
Facebook. I'm on the Twitter. I'm also on the Instagram, and also there's a Chinese connection called a WeChat, and I'm everywhere. You can find me easily, or just call Al Levine, the Talking Machine.
Yay!
Thank you. You're pretty smooth. Since you out-talked me, you're done, cousin of Smoking Jim.
Smoking
job.
Jim, we're cousins. For
I
sure,
know,
yes.
I know. Hey,
I
I
have
thought-
to seal that after this.
I thought you had a gift for me. Now you're not. No
Oh
gift.
yeah, I'm talking too much now.
Yeah, because we have other guests. We're gonna have to bring other people up.
Okay. Yeah, I really appreciate what Al had done. You know, we actually just know each other, you know, since the summer, before the summer.
Right.
Got to heat it up pretty fast.
Whoa! It was an argument. Wait a second. This is a family show. It's a family show.
I am wearing one here, number one, and so he is becoming a number one.
Well,
All right.
thank you.
Hey.
I don't know if it'll fit, but I'm not gonna lose weight like that. I don't want to
And,
lose.
also, this is that $1 million guarantee program, which is everything these athletes take. If they going through any of this, you know, the substances, right?
Right.
Testing for positive, USANA will guarantee them, pay the money back, $1 million, guaranteed. Who
Wow.
else in the whole world would be able to do that? Number one, USANA. And I am making the connections.
Are you? Wow, what a connector. I think you're out networking me today. You win.
Well, thank you.
I
It's a
appreciate
yes.
it. It's a yes. It's a yes. You were a great guest.
Well, thank you so much.
Thank
And,
you.
My pleasure to meet
Pleasure's
you.
all mine.
Yeah,
Thank
thank
you.
you.
Thank you for all the gifts and the kind words.
My name is Rob Wilds, and I'm from right here in Pittsburgh. Moved here a few years ago from Sacramento, California, via Phoenix, Arizona, via Austin, Texas, San Antonio, Texas. Love Pittsburgh.
You're on the run like me.
Well, see, I'm on the run because I get paid to be. I don't know what your deal is, brother. I don't know what your deal is.
He's getting French fries.
Yeah, I see that.
That's what you want one?
He needed some
Or
hot sauce.
are you cutting weight this week?
Well, you know, I got a pretty tough title defense coming up in February.
Do you?
I'm going to stay away from the French fries and the fried food.
What weight class are you in?
Heavyweight.
You don't have to worry about
Championship
food.
weight class.
I heard that.
That's right.
Can I hold the belt for
Absolutely
a
not.
second? All those compliments, they don't mean anything.
Well, I'll tell you what. Just like every other wrestler has got in with me, this is about as close as you can get to it when the ref shows you. Get out of here.
I like your style.
I'll tell you what I like.
What's that?
I like Pennsylvania. I like the East Coast. Being from the West Coast and the East Coast wrestling scene, the professionalism out here is on such a higher level, especially in Pennsylvania, than anywhere else I've ever worked. I just love it. I was going to take a drink of that.
No, don't do that. We need you to talk for a few more minutes about
Few
what
more
you're doing
minutes.
and everything else.
Well, I've been in this glorious business we call professional wrestling for a little bit over 20 years.
Wow.
Wrestled all over the country.
Would you start at 8 years old?
No, sir. I started with Mr. Paul DeMarco at 17.
Wow.
Here's a good one.
I thought you had to be 18 to wrestle.
Yeah, this was 110 years ago.
Okay.
I went out to the Arco Arena in Sacramento to watch the WWF. Now it's EFG.
XYZ.
I went out to watch them cats, and I went out like a geek because I was a wrestling geek. I put on the Macho Man beard, and I got the tassels on the jacket.
Did you?
And I go up to the concession stand to get myself a drink, and somebody taps me on the shoulder, and I turn around, and it is none other than Mr. Paul DeMarco.
Wow.
And I froze. Huh? And he said, "You know who I am?" "Yes, sir." He said, "Are you a wrestler?" "No, sir." "Do you want to be?" The next day, I was training.
With him?
With him.
No way.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Wow.
Then not even
Who would think, Smoking Jim? What
not
a story.
even two months into my training, in comes walking Ivan Putski. Then we get Bruno Sammartino.
My favorite wrestler of all time.
Yes, sir.
Ivan
We
Putski.
get the Iron Sheik. We get all the big names who were showing up for the old brothers just to beat up the students.
Right.
But it turned me into a 20-year veteran when the rest of my class didn't last 5.
Wow.
That's
Wow.
something. That's something to hold your belt on.
And you gotta love it.
I do.
You gotta love what you're doing.
I respect that too.
So coming out here, I've had this concept in my head for about 5 years. You go out to the independent wrestling shows, and what do you see? You'll see the honky tonk man and just guys. Or you'll go see Matt Hardy and just guys. And the people you're bringing into, it feeds into the crowd that you're going to get. So why not get them all? And the concept
what's your
is
plan?
generations of professional wrestling. Well, you're going to bring in the superstars, the Hall of Famers, the relevant people now, and the awesome, awesome talent that you haven't seen before. And we got a lot of that out here.
Yeah, we've had some wrestlers on our show already.
Yeah, I've heard you had some of the KSWA guy. I love that name.
Yeah, we've
Now,
had
see, that's
them.
something else. Keystone. That's catchy. It makes you go, hey. Generations makes you go, hey.
That's true.
You got to have some flash behind the gas, or your car's not going to go nowhere.
Well, how do they get a hold of you, champ?
Well, you can get us up on gpwlive.com. gpwlive.com. Gonna have to get a little link up here to your guys' show because I was exposed to you not even 2 weeks ago through Trapper Tom.
Oh
I
yeah.
love it. This is fantastic. I'll come out here and watch even when I'm not on.
Well, thank you.
But why
thank
would you not want me on?
We might have other guests. We
You
do,
can have
we do
other
have a
guests.
lineup of guests at times.
Yeah, that last woman up here rocking it, she was doing a great job. Other guests are great.
May Sway.
May Sway.
Yeah, but you wait.
It's a wrestling gimmick. May Sway.
No,
See,
that-
she's swaying.
That's her real name.
Oh.
Yeah, sorry.
Oh, okay.
You're in the wrestling mode. We're in the interview mode
I'm
here.
always in wrestling mode.
Are you?
You got to do it to be the
Is
champ.
this what you wear every day in Bethel Park?
Not necessarily this, but something similar.
Okay.
Yeah, you know.
Jim, ask him to see his shoes.
Want to see my shoes? You want to see the boots?
We got to.
Oh.
Here, watch
All right.
Smoking Jim's not only an NFL scout of models, but he's a shoe man.
Very good. Well, then you'll appreciate this, my friend. These are the very boots that were laid across Yokozuna before he passed.
Wow.
Yes, sir. Because that big crazy guy, he tried to kill me. So I had to get mine back.
It's getting a little deep.
But I'm loving the sports industry out here. The way this town just grabs a hold of sports and grabs it by
sure.
the haunches. Love it.
Well, I wish you luck with what you're trying to do there.
Thank you, sir. I wish you luck with the continued success of this awesome
Well,
project.
thank you. We're just trying to help people out and do some nice business here in the area.
Yes, sir. Hit us up on GPW Live. Check it out. And,
Don't forget Pittsburgh Sportsline. You got to like that and all your wrestling friends there, too.
well, Pittsburgh Sports Line's going on the front page.
Oh, is it?
Yes, sir.
Oh,
Yes,
you got
sir.
a deal.
Yes,
Welcome
sir.
back.
Thank you.
We'll talk to you another
See
time.
you
Thank
soon.
you, champ.
Whoa, we have fun today or what?
Hello, America. Mr. Bold speaking. I issued an ice bucket challenge to my good friend Darth Vader, and given his ego and celebrity status, I was sure that he would take the challenge. But if he doesn't show up in the next minute or two, I'm going to have to do it myself.
I find your lack of faith disturbing.
Nice towel. And I said a bucket challenge. That's a cup.
Don't make me destroy you.
such a show-off. What are you waiting for, you big sissy?
It is pointless to resist.
I can't believe you just force-soaked me!
All too easily.
You're not such a bad guy after all, old buddy.
Apology accepted.
The Ice Bucket Challenge has done a great job of raising awareness for ALS and many other noteworthy charities. If you have an Ice Bucket Challenge or some other cause you would like to bring attention to, Darth Vader and yours truly, Mr. Bold, would like you to come to BPTV and will gladly help you make a program or promo or share your existing video with the community.
We would be honored if you would join us.
Everyone is welcome to Bethel Park Volunteer Fire Company's first annual Oktoberfest and Monte Carlo night. It'll be held on Saturday, October 18th at the Bethel Park Community Center. Festivities include a live DJ, 50-50 raffle, and much more. Tickets are $25 and can be purchased by calling firefighter Eva Parker at 412-758-0917 or Deputy Chief Rob Nestrich at 412-862-1339. You must be at least 21 years old to attend. One ticket for only $25 buys you all the food and drink you want, plus a night filled with fun, laughter, and games. We'll see you at the first annual Oktoberfest and Monte Carlo night at the Bethel Park Community Center, 5151 Park Avenue on October the 18th. All proceeds benefit the Bethel Park Volunteer Fire Department. Special thanks to our sponsors, Pasta 2, Virgili Beer, Pepsi, Lowe's, Bethel Park Printing, and Kogo's. See you Saturday, October 18th.
Last show I was here, I brought my original program of last game Babe Ruth was in town, and it's about this size. And the back there's Babe Ruth's autograph with all the other Hall of Famers.
Wow. And this is a copy of it.
Yeah, I brought the last one, original copy, but
right.
I brought my portfolio here. I wanted to read a little bit about when Babe Ruth was one of his last games was here in Pittsburgh at Forbes Field. He hit his 7, 12, 13, 14th home run. Wow. And that was May 1935. His last game. He retired a few days later.
Right.
But
didn't one go over Forbes Field's
roof?
Yeah,
the last one went over.
The first one ever to go over the roof.
They measured it. It was
Field.
precisely 600 feet. Went over the roof, bounced on a house, another house, went down to Bondry Street. That's what Paul Warhol said when he
I
was
heard that interview.
He was one of the last witnesses. He just passed away. So pretty much I'm on my own on this. Nobody's around from this era.
Right.
You know, and maybe there might be one attorney who was still at that game in 1935, but
yeah.
Paul Schul was his name?
Schuliak.
But anyways, at the dinner, they were honoring Maringville here at the dinner, and this is the inside of it, where it comes down to here. It says, Babe Ruth, welcome to Powertown, right field. And I wanted to read the night in Pittsburgh. It's out of the biography of Babe Ruth. It's on page.
Give him a chance to get a close up there if he can.
I'm reading out of this biography with nobody's permission. Okay.
You're your own man.
I'm my own man. So anyways, I'm just going to give you a little bit of story on what this was here.
Sure, it's not just for the people here, but this will be rebroadcast too.
Right.
So just take your time.
Yeah,
You read what's there.
It's a few minutes. I'm just going to read, a little bit about when Babe Ruth was in town in Pittsburgh, and his last hurrah was right here.
Wow.
So it says here on page 396 of the Babe Ruth biography, the night in Pittsburgh, there was a big dinner at Schenley Hotel for Marionville, who had his best years as a shortstop with the Pirates more than a decade earlier. Rabbit began in the majors 2 years before Ruth, and he started with Boston Braves when he and Ruth was pitching against the Red Sox in 1934. Marionville broke his leg sliding in home place in spring training. He said, "Give me a cigarette," while he was waiting for an ambulance. Now the 43-year-old was trying to come back, but he obviously he could not do so. Thus the dinner, he and Ruth, they've been friends for years. The Babe was one of those who spoke at that dinner. Babe speaks, "I've known the Rabbit for a long time," he began, "and I love him. I love him like my own brother." His eyes suddenly filled with tears, and his voice broke. He could not speak. There was an embarrassed silence. "Damn it," he muttered. He dabbed his eyes with a napkin. The orchestra began playing. In a few moments, Ruth was all right. He nodded at the orchestra, and the music died away. And as it did, the audience began to applaud. Warm, sentimental applause splashed down on Ruth until he began to speak again. He ended up saying, "If baseball cannot afford to lose Marionville, if it never finds a place for him, then that's the day you'll hear me criticize baseball." Babe went out on a ton with Rabbit and a few other friends. The next afternoon at Pirates were taking practice. Pittsburgh sports writer Harvey Boyle sat down heavily on the bench next to Pie Traynor, who was the manager. "You look like you had quite a night," said Traynor. "I certainly did." "Oh boy," he shook his head sadly. "I'll tell you one thing, we won't have to worry about the big guy today. He was out all night and he didn't get to bed till against breakfast." But the 41-year-old Babe Ruth played anyways. As he hit balls, Wayner, who's on there too, he caught one. It should have been 4 home runs.
Right.
Wow.
Okay.
Well, the Wayners were out drinking with them that night.
Right.
Really?
They were all drinking. That's what they did. That's why Babe Ruth's one of the greatest players ever. Now listen to what he finishes
well,
with.
and
it.
John J. Evers was playing with Babe too, and that was your guy.
And any of you guys that know Tinkers, the Evers, the Chance, it's one of the greatest double play combinations in the history of baseball. They are all in the Hall of Fame. That become a famous saying. Tinkers, the Evers, the Chance. And John Evers didn't sign any programs really, and there's hardly any autographs. This might be the only autograph of him on a program or anything.
Okay, anyways, back to the story here, Al.
Well, I'm the talking machine. You know that. You got me started. You gave me the opening. What is it? Do I have punching bag on me? Hey, Sway beat me up. You're beating me up. I need your bodyguard.
Al Levine, the talking machine.
Psycho Bob, can you protect me for a little bit?
We have my cousin Al, the dancing machine, in the
Is he here too?
My cousin Al, my sister Carla, and my bodyguard Psycho Bob from.
Anybody else you want to say hi to? We don't mind. It's a family show.
New show, Interview Al. Interview Al, that's good.
Anyways, here we go. It says Ruth hit 2 home runs. Okay, and then the third home run, Bush said, he was the pitcher of Pirates.
Right.
"I never saw a ball hit so hard before since. He was fat and old, but he still had that great swing. Even when he missed the first home run he hit off me that day. I guess it was just another homer. But I cannot forget the last one. It's probably still going. It was unbelievably long, completely over the roof of the double-deck stands in right field and out of the park. No one had ever hit a ball over the roof of Forbes Field before. Gus Miller, the head usher, went to investigate, and it was told the ball landed on a roof, went onto another, bounced into the street, which a boy ran off it into the parking lot. Miller measured the distance from the first house to home plate and said it was 600 feet. His measurements may be a little imprecise, but it was still the longest home run in Pittsburgh ever. That ball is in the Hall of Fame right now, which they had it on display, and then they just recently sold it.
That's
the
what I
guy
heard.
had it for 60 years. Okay, it says anyways, Ruth lost the game, but the home run over the roof was a 7/14th, and the last of his career. It was also his last major league hit. Ruth retired a few days later.
Exactly.
So
And it happened right here in Pittsburgh.
he went out with a bang, and I heard one of the nights when he went out on the town, they ended up at Chiota's, which I did end up with a snapshot with
Did you?
Hannes Wagner with him, and me and my sister, we ended up selling it to a guy named Peter Siegel.
We're
we
giving all
sold
the
it.
story. All right, it's sold.
Which, this
Well,
is-
let's stay
this is-
positive. We're talking about this. There's a little story on how you found this. Do you want to share that?
Well, it was in a relative's chess set, and I was cleaning the house out, and before it got resold, and I kept, the chess set and
Sure.
a few things. Well, I was having a yard sale to sell it, and this program, which was this size, was in a high school yearbook,
Wow.
which it was from 1935. So, he would have been my uncle if he didn't die in the war. He was related to
Sure.
my aunt.
He'd still be your uncle, but he's
Right.
deceased.
He's
So you're
deceased.
okay.
Yeah. So
No problem.
Right.
You didn't lose your uncle. Just
But it was in a yearbook, and I was selling it at a flea market. And I put $20 on the yearbook, Jim.
Really?
And this was sticking out. And the guy looked at it. He goes, "You have Babe Ruth's autograph." And I looked at it, and I says, "That looks like Ruth Reuter. I don't think." And he goes, "I'll pass." He threw it down, but he almost bought it for $20.
Wow.
When he left, I picked it up, and I said, "I don't know. This is baseball." I looked at Babe Ruth, welcome Power Time right field, and I knew I had his autograph along with
many others.
7 of the other Hall of Famers.
Yeah,
Bill
Pie
McKitchie,
Trainer's there.
Pie Trainer, McKitchie, he's the pride of
McKechnie, yeah.
Pride of Wilkinsburg. And there's one of Ty Cobb's trainer was on here. He was in the first baseball league ever. He signed it. He probably was 75 years old there.
Wow. Baseball started in 1869.
Right, well,
Did it?
Yeah.
but there was other prominent names on here like Arthur J. Rooney. He was on the
Yeah.
committee with the Fricks, the Kaufmans, the Flahertys.
Flaherty.
They were
Yeah.
all here in 1935. But
Sure. Well, Art Rooney played baseball, was a boxer. He only owned the Steelers for a couple years there, so he was a prominent guy in Pittsburgh.
Wow.
So that's a lot of history here.
Right, but this is probably the only one in existence. A lot of this stuff didn't survive over this 80 years.
Not in
And-
Pittsburgh with floods and reconstruction and
This is Babe Ruth's 100th anniversary as a Major League Baseball player. He
Really?
played his first game was 1914. So we just passed the 100th anniversary, which a lot of people were cashing in on 100 years.
right.
Babe Ruth, he made more people money than he ever made. Ain't that
He
something?
did well. One of his favorite quotes is they asked him, how can he justify getting paid $80,000 a year, which is more than the President of the United States? Do you know what he said?
What do you say?
He said, I had a better year than the President.
Yes, he did. And you know who he said that to?
I
Al
know you-
Capone.
Really?
That's the honest to God truth. He came
I'm not
in-
going to ask how you know that kind of stuff, but I know the quote.
The reason why
Two of my favorites,
Babe's,
Babe and Al.
Babe's second wife had some mob ties, and she was there with Al Capone when Babe Ruth met his second wife in a bar in New York.
It might have been a speakeasy.
And Al Capone went to shake Babe Ruth's hand, and he just shunned him off.
I don't believe that.
Honest to God.
I don't believe that. Nobody
Wow.
does that
If
to Al
you look
Capone,
at
not in
the
Chicago.
movie, you could find that in the movie The Babe with
I ain't
John-
believing
John
that.
Goodman.
I
Yeah,
ain't
you'll see a
believing
scene in that. You have to watch that, Jim.
Babe Ruth's one of my favorite players, and I met Vinny, and that's his favorite player.
My
Well,
favorite player.
I knew he was one of the greatest, but
Well, now you are, because you found this darn program there.
so the reason why I brought this is right now it's the William Pitt building, and that's what the first skyscraper in Pittsburgh. That's where they all stayed. That building still stands,
Bill, you got to get a photo with this here.
and they walked.
Hold up
actually,
that program with you holding it. I think that'll be a
They
good photo.
walked from the game to the hotel and it was kind of raining. He had a camel jacket on. What do they call that?
Camel hair jacket.
Camel hair jacket.
I'm filling in the gaps for you,
throwing
buddy.
up at blood after the game, and
Oh,
a lot of the kids. This is with Paul Warhol.
Here, smile. This will be going everywhere. We'll post it up on Facebook. Pittsburgh
Right.
Sports Line. We'll put it out there for you.
A lot of the kids tried to get Babe Ruth to sign something that when he was walking, and Paul Warhol told me he was giving him out his business cards. It said Babe Ruth. He didn't want to sign them. He
Really?
was sick. It was raining. He was
Boy.
walking from the game to the hotel, and it was Forbes Field's no longer there, but home plate's still there.
Right.
And it's only probably about not even an eighth of a mile walk. They walked from the game to the hotel. That's where they all stayed. You know.
Sure.
There was a couple presidents staying.
I'd
in
have
his
caught a streetcar.
They were there.
It was this hotel was dubbed first skyscraper built, 10-story skyscraper built in 18.
In Pittsburgh.
Yeah,
Wow.
and
Story. That's
Nice.
William Pitt Union bought it. But they have the original ballroom. The Babe spoke, and they had the dinner there. There was talks about us maybe like the biography, maybe a movie. We could still portray everybody down in that.
You might be
original
able to. You
ballroom.
got to shave though, but you might be
Yeah.
able to portray
Oh,
the Babe.
Yeah, well, he would have used James Gandolfini if he didn't pass away. You know.
Well, you're
hairpiece
bringing
on.
up all these
I
dead
know.
people. We can't use them. Al Capone, your uncle.
That's the legend, anyways.
Well, that's what counts.
Right.
No, I appreciate you coming back
right.
to the show. I'm glad we reconnected on this.
Right.
It was a great idea. And
Thanks-
it's because
thanks
of
for
your
having
cousin.
me.
It's because of your cousin Terry that I ended up contacting you.
Right, because I've been seeing you since a while. you know.
Right. It's been a while, over a year, I think.
It's
So,
been about a year, but we were going to get Paul Warhol on here, but
I know.
he
I
passed away.
like all the show and tell. Look at Babe Ruth there.
And Lou Gehrig.
Lou Gehrig.
Gehrig.
Yep. The Iron Horse.
The Iron Horse. Well, it's a pleasure to be on, you guys, and we'll be seeing you soon.
Definitely.
Jim, great to meet you.
Thank you,
See you
sir.
again.
My
Al,
man.
thanks a lot.
What's going on?
Well, I just come back from, we had that benefit concert yesterday in New Kensington.
Tell me about it. I apologize for missing it. I just couldn't get away from Pittsburgh.
It was great. We haven't got the final count yet, but it looks like we had over 500 people, and we raised probably close to $4,000 for Memorial Park in New Kensington.
That is awesome.
Yeah, it was great.
No, it's,
Great entertainment, including Miss Freddie.
I
She
know.
was
When
great,
did she
like always.
perform?
It
What,
was
do you
about
remember?
3:30, I think
Did
she was
she?
on. Yeah. Yeah,
No,
she was
she's
fantastic.
the best. I can't
yeah.
wait to hear her again.
Yeah, she's the
Definitely.
best. No doubt about it.
No doubt. So great crowd, great day for.
It was perfect
the
weather.
weather was actually perfect for you. It looked bad early,
Yeah.
then it come on strong
Couldn't
and
ask for
cleared
any
up.
better. It was awesome. Yeah.
Definitely. Everybody was happy about that.
Everybody was happy. Everything was great. All the vendors did well. It was great. Yeah.
Nice. Well, you know we're talking Pirates a little bit today. We were just talking before the show.
Yeah.
I'm not going to steal any of your thunder, even though I teased a little bit.
Let me ask Jim this question.
Well, he's
Even
our
he can-
baseball expert now.
Yeah, he's our baseball expert, so he would know. Let's just check this out. Let's picture Josh Harrison with his grandchildren on his lap. And he'll say, back in the year 2014, I started the year as just a substitute player, ended up playing 6 positions or more, winning the batting title, getting out of 2 rundowns in 1 season, and being part of a triple play.
Wow.
What do you think his grandchildren would look up and say?
They don't believe him.
I wouldn't believe him for a minute. I wouldn't believe.
Another Willie thrower, line again.
That's right. That's right.
Oh, the Willie
Willie
thrower.
Thrower,
wasn't
New
it?
Kensington. Very good.
For years.
That's right.
Yeah.
But think about that. What a wonderful year. That's Cinderella storybook, man. That's
It is.
stuff movies are made out of.
It's just great stuff because he was just a utility player, a streaky hitter, streaky
Right.
fielder.
Right.
Who would think? What, 2 rundowns like he had?
Yeah, I
And
don't
one,
even-
I know he was outside the base path.
Yeah, I believe so.
Because
Yeah.
there's no way you can have that much.
Yeah.
There's
I
no
still.
running back.
Well, in baseball, it's sort of limited on how far you can go. It's not the whole infield.
It's an imaginary line, but it was real imaginary that day.
Yeah, it was sort of wavy.
Yeah, no doubt about it.
It waved goodbye.
But speaking of the Pirates, It's funny that I'm on tonight because the Boston Red Sox come into town tomorrow night.
And what product do they drink all the
It's
time?
funny you ask, Alan.
How do I know this stuff?
The very first professional team in the United States to make it their official juice, Boston Red Sox have been drinking Mona V for 4 years now.
No way. We'll have to get May Sway to listen to that.
Yeah, I don't know if she'd like to hear that, yeah.
I don't know. Is May Sway still here? She's missing a point here.
That's okay. That's all right. I don't want to steal her thunder.
No. That was a good one. They're coming in, and then did you notice that Worley got demoted?
Yeah.
And now Morton's going to come back just because of his history with success that he's had against Boston.
Yeah, I'm sure Jim will agree because he's the expert. I'm sure that
we might need a timeout on that one.
I'm sure that Morton will pitch one game, and if he doesn't do well, they'll go back to the Vanimal. There's no doubt about it.
He's had a great year.
Yeah.
No doubt. And Morton's coming off the injured reserve or disability list, DL.
Yeah.
So
yeah,
they said he had a good outing and stuff like that.
We'll see what happens. But, you know, over the year, every time someone got hurt and someone come back, it seemed like someone else would get hurt. So they never had to put themselves in this predicament. Now everybody's healthy.
Right.
They had to make a choice.
And we only have 13 games left.
Love it.
I mean, that's what's great. They got the second wild card. You know, it looks good.
Yeah, it's looking real good. Looking real good. Real excited about it.
Definitely.
Excited about
Do you think St. Louis can lose some games?
Unfortunately, I'm the biggest Pirate fan in the world, but St. Louis in September, they both start with S's, and they just never lose in September.
No, it's amazing.
They just don't. They just don't. On a different note, I would like Jim's opinion on something he's a real expert at. Did you hear about the article? It was in the New York newspaper on Sunday about the NFL. They claimed that 1 out of 3, and the NFL agreed upon this, 1 out of 3 NFL football players will have some sort of brain disease. 1 out of 3, and the NFL did not deny that fact and that number.
Well, can I briefly answer that?
Yes.
In my opinion, football players are a piece of meat. So
they are, but that one gentleman what's his name? The guy that just for St. Louis, I believe, he was out because he had memory loss for last year. Now he says, "I feel better. I want to play again." What would you do as an owner? They're meat.
Yeah, let him play. Yeah.
So you know what? You got to blame the players. They know. They really do.
Here's what I do. I tell them you're done.
Well, yeah, or have a sign of paper. Hey, you can't do this. If you do want to do it, we're not responsible.
We had this conversation before, and I said they should sign a waiver
when
they start the play.
Very first day.
Because everybody gets hurt. Look at Smoking Jim. He's played.
Yeah, look what happened to him.
No, I mean, he did get hurt, or he'd be a pro. I don't mean from the neck up.
Oh, I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
People just assume that.
I thought you were talking about. Excuse, cut that out.
No. It was from the waist down.
Okay,
So,
all right.
That's my friend, my brother from another mother.
Very confusing, sorry.
I know, but you ran right with it. But no, there's so many things going on with this NFL. It's just disappointing to hear and see this type of stuff.
Yeah. Yeah, the NFL now stands for a number of flag league.
Wow.
Number of flags league.
I thought it was the No Fun League.
Well, that's the second acronym,
Okay.
yeah. Whichever one you want to use.
No, it's a shame.
It is.
I mean, we have a little time here. Devin, how's our time look here?
12 minutes.
You want to get into a little NFL talk here since we have some time? We got a lot of things going on. We'll just do a round-robin conversation here.
All right.
Smoking Jim, you start us off.
Well, like I said, the uncrowned world champions is in Arizona, coached by the genius Bruce Arians. They're 2-0. San Francisco got to come to their house this week.
Hold it, they just lost.
And San Fran will lose again to the genius.
Wow.
Really? Who's their quarterback now?
And the reason I call them the uncrowned champions is because they were the last team to beat Seattle before Seattle won the world championship. So in my opinion, Arizona's the world champion.
Really?
Yeah, in my opinion.
You mean Arizona, you said?
Arizona.
You mean the Steelers of the West?
I was going to say it, but I'm letting you do it. We've gone through this routine before.
And always remember this, is that the Pittsburgh Steelers haven't went to the playoff since Art Rooney II fired Bruce Arians. And how has Bruce Arians done? He's 2-0 right now. He's the last team to beat Seattle last year. He's also was runner-up Coach of the Year last year, and 2 years ago he was NFL Coach of the Year.
Or
and
as an assistant coach, he filled in.
No, he filled
he
in
won
for the
head
Colts.
Coach of the Year and Assistant Coach of the Year, and
Has that ever happened?
it will never happen again. And
Okay.
it's never happened before. And a great coach will win you 3 games a year. But just think if he just won the Steelers 2 extra games, they're not 8-8 the last 2 years, they're 10-6, and they're a playoff team. Bruce Arians, Art Rooney II made a big mistake by firing him.
They made a big mistake. There's no doubt about it.
Yeah. Well, that was Big Ben's friend. They wanted to change Big Ben. Look at him. Now he's a family man, has 2 kids, he's married. I mean, that all changed. It's all good. So what if 8-8 is not great?
It's great.
He's
Just a
teaching
matter
me
of time
that.
before that.
Well, I had to say it because he was pausing on perfect about that.
Well, Jim, I know you've never made a wager in your life, but I mean, look at yesterday's games. You know, Seattle lost. New Orleans lost to, need I say, Cleveland. I mean, it's incredible what happens every week. I'm glad I'm not a betting man, especially in the NFL.
And I must say again, and he scored a touchdown, that my number 1 rated running back in this draft, who the Steelers said was too slow to play in the National Football League, is from tiny Townsend State, Terrence West, who ran for 100 yards in the second half against the Steelers, and he dominated again against New Orleans yesterday. So,
Well,
So-
since we're on Cleveland, do you think Cleveland's for real?
I was just going to say the same thing.
Cleveland looked pretty good. But for real, they're probably a year away. They're probably a year away from being a team that can contend. Yeah, 1 or 2 in. You're going to get injured during the National Football League. So around mid-season, the accumulations of injuries will turn them the other way. Yeah.
Interesting point. I know the scout, you look at that stuff. What about Cincinnati? They look like the class of our division right now.
Well, Cincinnati looks like they do every year. They start off really good and then they kind of fizzle. But as long as you got the Oreo cookie as the head coach, Marvin Lewis, black on the outside, white on the inside, I don't think Cincinnati will ever win a playoff game.
That's why Myron nicknamed them the Bungles for a reason, right?
Smoking Jim's holding that tradition. If you haven't heard our show, he's been mentioning this for almost 3 years now. And who's that head coach again? Never mind. From Fort Cherry, right?
And they never won nothing.
I knew that. He got the whole thing.
What about Gateway? Oh, never mind.
Marietta, just for that, you're allowed the rest of the show. You could just stay here, talk about whatever you want now. It doesn't matter.
Who was on TV Friday? Who was on Root Sports?
I don't know. I wasn't around.
I didn't see it.
Penn Hills, I think. I'm not sure.
Yeah, they got beat by Central Valley.
Yeah, they did,
Central
yeah.
Valley beat them.
You're like putting acid on him. You're
Yeah.
burning his skin here. Penn Hill's on top of that. That isn't right. Well, I'm sure Gateway will be back. So what if they
Yeah.
dropped one of the letters, or down in class or whatever they are? That's all right.
Yeah, they'll be back.
It happens. Well, then, what do you think about this James Conner?
Running, I love the way Pitt's playing. I love the ground and
Because
pound.
you were saying Shell should have stayed. So you even were saying last week that's the biggest travesty. Shell should have stayed there somehow.
Yeah, he.
Look what he would have been doing.
Yeah,
He's
Corner
doing
would have
okay,
been a
West
defensive
Virginia.
end.
Yeah, but I mean,
Corner would have been a defensive end at
That's
Shell
right.
State. They in spring ball they wanted to move him back. If he don't run for 170 yards in a bowl game last year, he'd probably be a defensive player right now. And now he's probably on his way to maybe contending for a Heisman.
and he's only a sophomore.
Only a sophomore.
That's what's amazing.
So he plays one more year and go to the NFL.
Will
Him
we
and
ever go
Boyd
back
together.
to defense, Jim?
No, he's a running back now. Him and Boyd will be 3 and out. Be like most of the players that play at Pitt never get their degree.
Smoking.
You know something interesting about that 3 and out. You know what?
Green, Ricky Jackson, where's the degree? Phil Fralick, where's it at?
You know when they'll be leaving, don't you? They'll be leaving the year before Penn State play.
Really?
Yeah, they will never get to play against Penn State.
Wow.
You
I
mean
guess
if they
those,
go 3 and
they'll
out?
be 3 and out.
I guess those millions will make up for it.
Yeah. Yeah, they won't.
Well, they
be
should. That's what you tell them. Take the money,
That's right.
right?
That's right.
Get that money. You never know when you'll get it again.
You can get hurt. You can get hurt in the NFL. Just look at RG me.
there.
Yeah, we heard you earlier. Definitely. What do you think about Penn State this year?
Well, since we wanted to bring up Gateway, let me see. Penn State is 3-0. Their defensive back coach is Terry Smith,
That's
former
why I'm
Gateway
bringing it up
legend.
to help you out.
They won this game 13-10, and the defensive backs of Penn State had 5 interceptions. Kudos to the defensive back coach.
Hey man, good point, Jim.
Yeah. But look
We
where
are.
Look where at Penn State. Look where he's at now. He's not where you said he was. He's at Penn State. So there's a reason for it.
Making $200,000 a year. He won't throw a brother a bone.
Well, I'm sure you'll get something when he comes back to town here. Maybe you'll be at one of those banquets or something.
Yeah, we'll crack a few ribs together.
There you go. I didn't know you eat ribs with sauce. That's a new thing. All right, let's touch on the Steelers since we had that debacle there. Can they come back from the loss that they just had against Carolina?
Well, Steelers don't like to get hit. And Carolina's a physical team, so look for the Steelers to go 1-2.
Wow, and I thought this schedule looked so easy.
It gets easier
will
after
after that.
this. It
Those
gets
first
easier
7
after
games looked easy.
Yeah.
I thought they might lose to Carolina, but I didn't think they'd lose like they did. That was terrible.
To think they almost lost to Cleveland, they would be 0-3 next week.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, this stat's unbelievable. Their last 6 quarters, they've been outscored 50-9.
Yeah, it's kind of tough when your offensive coordinator is the head coach of Arizona Cardinals, Bruce the Genius Arians.
Yeah, but did you hear? We went to the no huddle last year. It was very successful. Then I wondered why it was taking so long for Ben to call a play. Do you know what happens during the no huddle now? Haley calls the play. That's why they run the clock down the last 6, 7, 8 seconds, even when it's in a hurry up no huddle.
Why even have a no huddle then?
Well, that's part of it. How did Haley get into that?
Because he's tired of Ben getting the credit. Because in the no huddle, Ben calls the plays, and Haley wants the credit. It's all about credit.
See, this stuff's unbelievable.
Egos all over the NFL.
It's a shame. I think they do have some talent there, maybe not the top notch, but you do need the coaches to put you in the right position. And what about Tomlin here?
What about it?
Is he doing anything?
He hasn't done anything since he got here. Dick LeBeau's
That's your friend.
Dick LeBeau's been running the defense. Bruce Arians been running the offense. Now Haley runs the offense. But Coach Tomlin does great in press conferences, and he does a great electric slide while he's looking at the Jumbotron getting on the field.
Obviously.
That's his most famous thing.
I don't understand it.
He's famous for that.
Whatever happened to the standard is the standard. That's what I'm looking for. They stopped winning, so there's no
Stop
standard
saying it.
is the standard. I haven't heard the rubbers hitting the road either.
Right.
So, I mean, all these good cliches, they aren't working out real well.
When he smiled when they won against Cleveland, that let me know that, this ain't his thing, man. Bill Cowher and Chuck Noll would have been so mad. Guys would have been afraid to come in the huddle after giving up a 24-point lead to an expansion team.
Right. You make some good points there.
How about a prediction, Jim? Do you think Troy Polamalu will retire before the end of the year?
No, I think Troy is just as fast as anybody in the league. Defense, he's still flying around. He's doing a great job. I have not seen anything but a Pro Bowler. I like to see Troy, now that he's team captain, I think he got another year in him if he like to come back.
Don't you think that he comes in late in most plays, or am I just saying that?
No,
Well, he's not playing linebacker now, so he's not on the line.
But look at all the garbage you got to fight through. You got to fight. His guys, his nose guard's getting blown 10 yards off the ball. They ought to put the big boy in, 350-pound baby.
Like up the
Huey
middle.
in there. Yeah, he's a tough kid from Tennessee. Just ain't me.
Really?
Yeah, he's tough. He actually is the first guy I've seen since Gabe Rivera that drives that center back. And I don't know what the Steelers are waiting on planning,
Well, we gave you a little bonus with some Steeler talk. We had the Bucko talk. Mario, I want to thank you for coming up here and hanging with us.
Thank you very much.
Smoking Jim, always. And thanks to Devin Shea here on the cameras and the soundboard. Did an excellent job. We'll have this show up as soon as we can. It was a great night of sports talk. Thanks to watching us on Verizon 32 everywhere in the Pittsburgh area, only Comcast 7 in Bethel Park. And everybody have a good night. Drive home safely.